Hi everyone, Suzanne here. I hope you're all well and welcome to Sew Custom. Today's video is going to be another patterning video. In this one I'm going to show how I make a standard A-line skirt from my skirt block. So if you're interested in seeing that, then let's get started. So starting with the front, I'm just tracing around my block. My block may look slightly differently to your block, and that's simply because I've modified mine over this past wee while, but I will correct for that and it should look a little bit more like yours in a second. So all I'm doing here is tracing, making sure I'm adding all of the markings, so popping in my dart legs. And now I'm going to run a line right through the centre of the dart to the hem, and this will help me out with the patterning in a second. And here I'm just correcting, as I say, my side seam. This should look a little bit more the same shape as your block. I've just added some seam allowance here off camera and I'm labelling. So this is my front. I want to cut one and this one is on the fold. So now to create the A-line pattern, I'm just going to cut from the hem the whole way up the line I drew through the centre of the dart. I'm going to stop just shy of the point of the dart, and I'm going to cut down through the dart just shy of the point. So that will give me a little hinge, as you can see here. And now I want to close the dart. And I'm just making sure here that the dart leg that you can see at the top of the screen is lying directly across the second dart leg. So closing up the dart opens up the bottom of the skirt, and this is what's creating the A-line shape. So I've just added some fresh paper in between my two cut lines, and I'm just sticking that all in place. And as I do, I'm making sure that everything is lying nice and flat. And this, believe it or not, is more or less this pattern finished. So I'm just redrawing in my hem lines there. That will help me out later on when I come to sew. Trimming off the excess paper. And that is my front pattern piece complete. So now on to the back, and I'm not doing anything differently here at all, but I've left this in just to give you a chance to see the process again. So I'm tracing around the block. I'm making sure that I'm adding in the point of the dart and where my dart legs are. Drawing in the dart again. Drawing a line directly through the centre of the dart and then connecting that line to the hem. Labelling, and off camera adding in my seam allowance, and I've just made that correction to my side seam on the back as well. And now I just want to create the A-line. So I'm going to do the same as I did on the front, so I'm just going to cut up that line I drew earlier to the point of the dart but not through it, cut down through the centre of the dart to the point but not through it, giving myself a little hinge. And then to close off the dart, I'm placing the top dart leg directly over the top of the bottom one, making sure everything lines up nicely. And once I'm happy that it's lined up and my A-line shape is created, adding some paper underneath and sticking everything in place. And just like the front, I'm making sure that everything is lying nice and flat as I'm sticking everything down. So just securing the top, adding in my hemline again, trimming off any excess paper. And that is my A-line skirt complete. So because that's such a quick and easy pattern, I thought I would throw in a really easy pattern for a patch pocket as well. So I have my front skirt piece, pattern piece I should say, on top of some fresh paper, and I'm just tracing from the hip point up the side seam to the waist, across the waist to the dart point, so I can still see the leg of my dart there. I'm going to move away my skirt pattern paper now and just work on the pocket. So I'm lining up my ruler with the edge of the paper. That's a straight edge, and I want a straight edge on the bottom of my pocket. Again, lining up my ruler with that straight edge and drawing a line vertically to meet my point at my waist. And now I just want to make sure that the pocket fits my hand nicely. It's a good shape for me. So I'm just doing this by eye. So just drawing in my opening. I'm sure there is a more technical way of doing this, but this has worked for me. So just labeling. Adding in my seam allowance. Cutting that out, and I'm just showing here how it slots nicely on top of the pattern piece for the skirt. So everything matches up, my seam allowances match up, I've got a nice straight edge along the centre front, and this is how that whole pattern looks when it's all sewn together. So this is the A-line skirt and the patch pockets. I really love this pattern. It's so quick, so easy to make, and brilliant if you have your block and you don't really know what to do with it to make any modifications. Quick and easy. Love it. You could add any bodice you like to this one and you'd have a really nice dress. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found it useful and maybe interesting. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, please do, and I shall see you in a few days in my next one. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic couple of days. Bye folks!